class, I'll be talking about real GDP and nominal GDP. Inflation can distort GDP. In our previous class, I explained what GDP is all about. Inflation, that is a persistent rise in general price level over a given period of time in an economy, can affect the value of GDP. When there are times prices might increase while the physical quantity of goods and services produced in an economy will remain stagnant, since GDP is measured in monetary value. Increase in prices alone can make us believe that GDP has increased, while in reality the physical quantity of goods and services has not increased. This might disturb us and be misleading. In other words, GDP has two versions. We have real GDP, and two, nominal GDP. When we say real GDP, when we say nominal GDP, so let me start from nominal GDP. When we say nominal GDP, we are talking about GDP that is measured using the current price level, that is the current market prices. For example, if you are measuring GDP for 2025, the market prices obtainable in 2025 will be used. If you are measuring GDP in 2024, the market prices obtainable in 2024 will be used to value the GDP. In other words, when current price level is used to measure the value of GDP, we are dealing with nominal GDP. We are trying to calculate nominal GDP. What is it whereby we need to remove, or we want to remove the effect of inflation in GDP. For example, it is possible that if you use the current price level, that in fact if GDP has increased, if our measurements show that GDP has increased, that effect may not be as much as we see, because most of the effect, from increase in the prices of goods and services alone, okay, very insignificant of this increment may be attributed to increase in the quantity of goods and services produced in that economy. So in order to see clearly whether the increase we see in GDP has come from increase in the prices alone, or partly from increase in prices and partly from increase in the quantity of goods and services, that is physical quantity of goods and services that are produced in the economy in that particular year. So we need to account for the effect of inflation in our GDP measurement. So when we have GDP that accounts for the effect of inflation, so we say we have real GDP. This real GDP is that GDP that adjusts for the effect of inflation. So in other words, nominal GDP uses current market prices, okay, while real GDP uses constant market pricing. Constant market prices in the sense that we may try to look at, instead of using the current prices, so we say, okay, let's use prices obtainable in the previous period. Okay, that period we use its prices is known as the base period or base year. For example, let's say we have a country. Let's assume in a country, we have a country that produces one commodity. We know it's not feasible, it's an assumption. Okay, and let's say the price of that product, okay, let's say in 2014, and we have 2015. Okay, let's say we have the price, we have the quantity. The price in 2014, let's say, is $5 US dollars. Okay, and let's say in 2015 the price has jumped to $10. Let's say the physical quantity of goods that we produce is 10, okay, and 10 units, and in 2015, let's say the quantity produced is, let's say the quantity produced is 15. Okay, so in 2014, if I want to calculate GDP, okay, for example, let's say I want to calculate nominal GDP in this year. So the nominal GDP, NGDP, for 2014 will just be equals to the price in 2014 multiplied by the quantity produced in 2014. That's year. So in other words, we have 5 times 10, which is $50. Okay. So also the nominal GDP, because I'm using the current year, don't forget the nominal GDP uses current prices. Okay. In 2015, the nominal GDP will be equals to the price in 2015, that is 10, multiplied by the quantity produced in 2015, that is 5. Okay. Now let's say, so what do we have? Okay, so the answer here is 150. Okay, so in 2014 we have nominal GDP as $50, 2015 we have nominal GDP as 150 US dollar. So because this use current market prices, that is the prices in those years, in the respective years. What if you want to calculate real GDP? Real GDP. Okay. Since I only have two periods here, automatically the constant market price will be the price in the previous year, which is 2014 here. If you have more than 2 years, okay, you will be told which year you should use as your base year, so that you know the year you are going to use its market prices. Okay. Now, in 2014, so what is the real GDP? Real GDP is 2014. Since we are using the price of 2014 as our base year price, okay, so nominal GDP 2014 will always be equal to real GDP 2014 because we are using the price of that year as our base year price. Okay, so in other words, in 2014 we are going to have 5 times 10, which is equal to the same amount, 50 US dollars. Okay, why? You can see they are equal. Why? Because we are using that year prices as our base year price. So we are using this year as our base year. So the year you are using as your base year, the nominal GDP for that year will be equal to the real GDP for that year. Okay. Now, what of 2015? 2015 real GDP. 2015 real GDP will be equals to the prices in the previous year. That is, in the constant, the prices in the base year. Our base year here is 2004 automatically. Why? Because we know that we only have 2 periods. So the previous year will be the base year price. Okay. Now here we have the quantity, we have the price. Instead of using the price in this year, okay, so we are going to use the price now in 2014. So therefore we have 5, then multiply by now the physical quantity. You can see instead of using 10, instead of using 10, yes, correct, instead of using 10, which is the price in 2015. So we now use the price in 2015 because don't forget real GDP uses the base year price. Okay, that is because it adjusts for inflation. You can see the price level has increased from 5 to 10 here. In order to account for that increment, which is inflation, we are going to use the previous period price, that's the base year price, which is 5. So instead of using 10 as we've done here, we are using 5. This is 214. Then multiply by the quantity in 250. You can see we use the price of 214, but multiply by the quantity, okay, in this thing. So when you multiply that, you are going to see that you are going to have 75 US dollars. You can see now you can compare. If you compare the nominal price 15 and read 2015, you can see a huge difference. Okay, you can see a huge difference between these. You can see in 2015, real GDP is half of the nominal GDP. Okay, in that same year. Okay, if you have believed that our GDP has increased to $150, 2015. Okay, we may be tempted to believe that GDP has actually increased to $250 without accounting for the effect of inflation. But when you make adjustment that, okay, what is the impact of the increase in the physical quantity of goods and services, you can see that the real increment, the real increase is just $25. You can see here, okay? So, as a recap, GDP uses constant market prices for its measurement, that is, the base year prices, while nominal and GDP adjusts for inflation. The effect of inflation has been removed from real GDP. For nominal GDP is measured using current market prices. So the effect of inflation is present in nominal GDP, while the effect of inflation has been removed from real GDP. Don't forget to like this video, drop your comment or share the video to benefit others. Bye.